Hey, it's noirnerd. This is episode 4 of the vlog series on Virus Zapper. This is a game I'm making on Playcanvas, JavaScript, HTML5, WebGL game engine. So this was quite soon after the last one. I pretty much just did that vlog and then had a very productive Friday evening. So got a few things working actually. And changed a few things as well. So basically, main things I got working is generated buildings have collision detection now. So it programmatically adds the collisions and rigid bodies onto the generated procedural elements or buildings, if you will. I've also added a target icon, added some sounds, and also changed the gameplay quite a lot. So basically, before it was like you were flying around, but I thought, I mean, I might change this back, but I thought it would be, and I was having some issues as well with gravity, but I thought it would be better maybe to have it so that you're on the ground, almost like a more traditional FPS. I might change, or I might add another element to it, but something we experimented with towards the end of this video. This format, I think now I want to do is just like a time-lapse format, then I want to talk about what I'm doing in a nutshell. So that'll be the format of the vlogs, and without further ado, let's get on with it. Okay, so first I wanted to figure out how to add the collision to the building elements, which are generated procedurally. So I had to figure out where programmatically adding collision. That didn't take too long. It was pretty simple actually. Just add something like just like add collision. I can't remember because I can't see the script right in front of my face, but just took a few minutes of looking on the Playcanvas API. Next I wanted to just experiment with the texture on the floor because it just looked really distorted and weird. So just grabbed a quick texture, swap that out. Again, might change it again, but I just wanted to, I know here I'm just changing the tiling, so it's not like huge. It still is a bit big and a bit strange looking, but I don't want to get too sidetracked by that. Next up, I think, what was I doing? I was just playing with adding some, well basically actually these characters I need to procedurally generate them probably as well at some point, but haven't got that far yet. Just messing around with flying around, see what it felt like in this part. Then I wanted to add a target, so first I looked for a PNG, and then I eventually found it didn't work. I was trying to add it as a sprite and it wasn't working, so then I got added it as an image. Found just a typical sprite image online of a target. Don't want to go too outside the box at this point. Well, so I found an explosion thing there, which I thought looked interesting, but didn't end up using it actually. Went to open game art, which is quite good for just like at this point, this game is very much a prototype thing, and if you just want to quickly prototype and need assets and art and stuff, open game art is quite useful for that. So that's what I was doing that. Just a pro tip. It's not really a pro tip, an indie tip, but there you go. Resizing the image right there, the image. And then yeah, you can see a little target. Then just messing around with the sizing, make it a bit smaller. Then I wanted to make the randomness a bit less random, so that there'd be at least a minimum, because before I was getting very stupid results where the minimum like height would be like 1 or 2 or something, so you just get buildings that look ridiculous. So there's adding a bit of JavaScript there for the random Y, random X generation, which basically added a minimum value that could be random, so a bit of a range I guess. So I did that, just look quickly on Stack Overflow for a quick method. Pro tips. Then I wanted to mess with some music, so I was just looking again, open game art. I found a piece of music eventually, which is sort of like a drum and bassy techno-y track. Just because I was testing it, you're testing it so much sometimes, it's quite interesting just to have something to listen to. And also I wanted to add more sound elements, so did that. you just add it in as a sound on Playcanvas. If it's music, you can just loop it, like once I'm setting there. Can't hear on this video, but it's sound basically. Then I was looking for an explosion sound, and then I just messed around a bit with playing a sound when you bump into a wall. But then I sort of dropped all this afterwards, but you'll see why in a minute, I guess. So yeah, I'll spend a little bit of time doing that, messing around with it, and then just eventually I think stop out for a while. I got a bit mixed up for, I think it's MP3 or OGG files that work in Playcanvas, and that happened. Before I hadn't set up my Angular on my Angular, what's it called? Basically, so we have to set. Anyway, what was I doing here? I was just getting a sound, converting it to MP3 using Audacity, which is a very useful sound editing program. From this synthetic boom, and this wasn't running with any errors. It still wasn't really working, so just messing with that a bit more. The sounds, just trying to bouncing off things. Look in the Playcanvas document forum, which is quite useful. If you want to if you've got something that's a bit more in depth, it's useful to look at other solutions. Couldn't remember how to play a sound. Like, to be honest with Playcanvas, I know how to do some things relatively fast sometimes, but sometimes I just forget obvious things as well. I mean, that's often programming in general. You're just like, oh, no one can remember the entire API. So anyway, so I messed with that for probably a bit too long. Really got a bit too caught up in it. Had a little bit of a break, returned back, and I think the next thing I was looking at was, so the building generation is a bit better now, so you can see that the buildings are a bit bigger. So I found the script on the forum, which is quite interesting, for projectiles, generating projectiles. So that's what I'm messing with here. I just copied the script basically and decided to have an experiment with it, essentially. So that's all I did. Found like a circle that I could just grab and did that. So I wanted to create an entity. Got a bit confused at first, but yeah, that worked. So that was quite nice. You can see it in action there. Just sort of problem I've got though that's ongoing is that I don't know how to make it so that this projectiles or entity is spawned in where the crosshair is, basically. So I'm still trying to work that out. I have spent a lot of time just fiddling with this. So basically what it's doing is it's an entity attached to onto the player entity, and then the script basically clones that entity and pushes it. And then I was also looking at a way of destroying the bullets, but for some reason it wasn't working. I'm not sure why still. I was just setting a delay and then just setting it to destroy itself, but it wasn't working for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe I need to set something like this. I don't know. It wasn't working, but so I decided just to leave that for a while. And then yeah, I was just trying to get this projectiles to shoot in the right direction. So that's what I spent most of. And I also implemented this script instead of its being a standalone thing into the first person movement. I thought it'd be something like having to well, I actually changed the method I did it. So basically in a bit I add it so that it spawns from the location of the camera, whereas before it was somewhere else. Translate local, I think. I can't remember exactly where, but yeah. So yeah, let's go on to that. Then I sort of decided, because it was really weird when I was playing it, the projectiles were sort of like, because there was zero gravity before, it just looked really weird when I was shooting, so I decided to maybe go back onto the floor, like I was talking about before. So I decided to make the decision to go change the gameplay to like, so it's more of a traditional FPS, and that's what I was doing there, which I may or may not keep, I'm not sure yet. Well, it's sort of more interesting, well, not more interesting necessarily, but more easy to access the gameplay experience, I suppose. I mean, still not really got onto the core gameplay that I'm out yet. Still setting up the fundamentals, but yeah. And again, this goes on and on, so I won't bore you too long with this.